Good afternoon, and welcome to today's 29th Annual University of Maryland School of Medicine White Coat Ceremony. My name is Carrie Tom. I am the Associate Dean for Student Affairs, and I'm happy to be here with you today. To those here at the Hippodrome and those tuning in remotely, we are delighted that you have joined us for today's important and exciting event. Celebrating milestones such as today always brings me a great deal of personal joy. As we pause to celebrate these milestones, I'm also reminded to start with purposeful gratitude. I feel truly privileged to do the work I do, and each year this ceremony helps me to reconnect with that and reminds me to take a moment and reflect on my own personal journey. Remembering where I started on my first few days of medical school and the people I met and those who helped me along the way. And of course, the great privilege of caring for others that we've engaged in. For me, another personal joy is the opportunity to work alongside such amazing colleagues and staff, all of whom have a shared passion for education and mentorship. We collectively in medical education are so grateful to have this opportunity to get to know the students in the class of 2029, and we are ready and excited to educate, mentor, guide, support, and serve them throughout their journeys here and beyond. Today's ceremony is a time of celebration in which we will also recognize the hard work and accomplishments that have led to this moment for your student. I know you all know that very well. It's also an important milestone in which your student will be welcomed, both here at the School of Medicine as part of our community, but also into this noble profession of medicine. And finally, it's an opportunity for them when they process in and join our ceremony today to reaffirm their professional commitment to becoming the clinically excellent and compassionate physicians that we know they aspire to be. After today's program, we hope that you will come away with a greater understanding of and appreciation for our medical school, as well as the joys and challenges that your students in the class of 2029 will certainly face during this phase of their medical education journey. During the last week, as part of their introduction to medical school, we have opened this conversation with your students and have specifically discussed the importance of support, of reaching out to us, of taking advantage of the variety of wellness and academic support resources we offer, and remembering to lean on their own personal support network, you guys, for support along the way. After today's ceremony, you will receive a series of videos, including those from Dr. Martinez and Dr. Allen, who will share a glimpse of some of these conversations we've been having with your students with you today. In addition, our offices in medical education and student affairs have partnered with the Office of Philanthropy to create a wellness handbook, which includes the resources we've been discussing with your students all along with some practical advice and a general roadmap for you on how you can support your students' well-being throughout medical school. In our ceremony program today, you'll find a link and a QR code to view and download that handbook, and we hope that you take the opportunity to do that at some point. We look forward to partnering with you to support your students over the next few years and on their journey to becoming a physician. I would also now like to recognize our generous sponsors for today's event, presenting sponsor Whiting Turner, and our sponsors for the stethoscopes that your students will receive as a gift today from the alumni of the Medical Alumni Association here at the University of Maryland. Thank you both for your ongoing support of our students and the White Coat Ceremony. I would also like to recognize Dr. Bruce Jarrell, President of the University of Maryland, Baltimore, who came to be with us today. Dr. Jarrell, we know your schedule is exceedingly busy, and it means so much that you take a few moments out to join our students and their families today for today's special ceremony. And I'm going to move on and share a few facts to provide some context for your students' learning environment, things you may be interested to know. The School of Medicine was established in 1807 and is the 5th oldest medical school in the United States. It was also the first to open a teaching hospital in 1823 at the very site where our hospital is now. The School of Medicine was the founding school of the University of Maryland and today is an integral part of the 12-campus University system of Maryland. Here in the School of Medicine, we have close to 3,000 faculty members, and over the course of your students' medical education, they will have the opportunity to interact with many different faculty. These faculty members will impact your students' experience and influence their careers in a variety of ways. Some will be remembered as effective teachers, exemplary role models. Others will play important roles as academic, professional, and even personal mentors, offering career advice and guidance, both during their time here and as an alumni. Several faculty members are here today to support your students, being either a part of the ceremony or here visiting in support as your students start their careers in medicine. And I hope you have the opportunity to chat with them today at some point in the lobby. I also want to say that you should take great pride in your students' accomplishment of gaining admission to our medical school, as this competition is significant. I know each of you have journeyed your students thus far and know the application process to medical school is not an easy one, but I'm going to give you some stats to put that in context as well. We had over 7,100 applications, and our incredible Office of Admissions reviewed all of those applications and narrowed it down to just 619 students to interview. And in the end, we accepted 173 of your students into this year's class. Your students' class is composed of 64% women, 61% students of color, 12% of students who identify as LGBTQ+, 69% of our students in the class of 2029 are Maryland residents, and students have joined us from 67 different colleges and universities. And we are indeed fortunate to have such a large pool of qualified applicants for each of these seats in our class. But we want to make sure you know and have heard, and that your students know and have heard, that each one of these 173 students in the class of 2029 has earned their spot here. They've been reviewed and selected, and we believe that they are more than capable in succeeding in medical school and achieving their goals. So again, congratulations to them. Since our founding in 1807, much in academic medicine has changed. In fact, much has changed in the last 5 years. But we are still guided by some of our same basic principles from our founders, including dedication, commitment to the highest quality education, research, and clinical care. And indeed, it is our most important responsibility here at the University of Maryland School of Medicine to educate the next generation of physicians, scientists, and allied health professionals. Students in the class of 2029 are the 6th class to enter our new-ish Renaissance curriculum. In this new curriculum, our dynamic community of scholars, physicians, and scientists aim to actualize the Renaissance physician. Your students will be lifelong learners who are clinically excellent, possess humanism, professionalism, scholarship, leadership, critical thinking, and an attention to social justice and diversity. And we take this charge very seriously. Our students, we know, will be responsible for changing people's lives, for shaping communities, and for influencing the world in which we all live. Educating, mentoring, and encouraging them to become physicians and the best version of themselves is both a professional and personal joy that we all value here at the School of Medicine. As your students navigate the next 4 years, we hope they do so knowing that they are not taking this journey alone. Peers, faculty, staff, family, and friends are all along for the ride. All of my colleagues in medical education, the assistant deans in student affairs, are here as their advocates and mentors, aiming to promote both personal and professional development and to assist them in navigating the challenges and opportunities they may face. We're each committing to serving our students and helping them become those best versions of physicians they can be. And I personally am looking forward to seeing each and every one of them grow into bright, compassionate, and competent physicians. I have one ask of you today, beyond the support of your students, is to please encourage them to get to know us and to come see us and to take advantage of the resources that we have to offer. And importantly, if they come to you and seem to need guidance, just remind them that they know where the Office of Student Affairs hallway is, and it's their home away from home. In a few moments, we'll be sharing a special video for you about a Medical Family Annual Fund. Before I introduce that video, I just want to take a moment to let you know that the University of Maryland School of Medicine does not function, financially speaking, like a typical public university. We generate over 94% of revenue from sources other than state support. So in that way, it's operated a bit more like a private medical school. And tuition only provides 3% of the annual operating budget for the University of Maryland. The Medical Family Annual Fund gives families a meaningful way to specifically contribute to their students' academic experience through philanthropy. Because of the generosity of our medical student families, we can provide robust mentorship and wellness opportunities that are essential to student success, such as those offered through the House Advisory System, which you'll hear about in the video. Gifts to the fund help us to celebrate special days for the medical students, including today, provide funding for renovations to student lounges and study areas on campus, as well as enhancements to the curriculum, and the list goes on. In the video, you'll hear from some of our medical students about how the gifts from the Medical Family Annual Fund have elevated their experience here. And you'll also hear from co-chairs of the fund, who we are pleased to have join us today, Drs. Craig Colliver and Ginny Colliver. Thank you for your commitment to enriching the experience of our medical students. Today's ceremony program contains information on how to contribute to this important fund, and we now invite you to enjoy the video. Thank you.
Congratulations on this important day for your medical student. I am Ginny Colliver, proud parent of Lauren Colliver, who is in the class of 2028 at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. I currently serve as the Medical Family Annual Fund co-chair, along with my husband, Craig. We are also class of 1993 alumni of the School of Medicine. The Medical Family Annual Fund was started in 2004 by medical family members like us to support and strengthen our students' education. Since then, more than $425,000 has been contributed to this fund. Amazing. Craig and I donate to this fund because we know our contributions are being used for student-centered projects and programs impacting medical students daily. This is important to us because we know it enhances Lauren's training and experiences, making her a better physician and researcher.
Donations to the Medical Family Annual Fund support a variety of events and activities, including today's white coat ceremony and wellness initiatives, including purchasing meals for the medical students surrounding important exams. Our gifts also support the House Advisory System. These 4 dedicated house rooms are used for studying, social events, mentorship activities, and as comfortable spaces for students to hang out and meet new classmates. Additionally, our gifts to the fund have been used on upgrades to student lounges and kitchen spaces. While I could continue to explain to you how these donations have benefited our medical students, we'd like to let you hear from the students themselves.
The house rooms provide a really great opportunity to do all sorts of things. I remember when I was here my first week, they had a whiteboard up in the house rooms, and I was just studying, and I met one of my best friends here, which was such a great experience. And they also have like lots of opportunities to do fun things, games like Exploding Kittens or karaoke. So it's a really great way to both connect with the community and have a silent study space when you need it.
Hi everyone, my name is Mahima. Today I'm in the JF house room and I'm just going to show you all a little bit about what this house room has and what I used it for during my time in medical school. So as you can see here, we have a big table that often me and my friends would study in. There's some resources for step 1 and some other anatomy books that were really helpful during our time. And when we were not studying, sometimes we would sit down on the couch and just relax. And as you can see, there's a TV behind me that can be used for watching educational videos or just having some recreational time to yourself.
So I'm an MGP, and early on in the year we had an event called the rock climbing event, and we catered Qdoba. It was a lot of fun. It forced me to reach out to classmates I probably didn't reach out to before. Everything from finding a ride to getting rock climbing tips from M2s, M3s, M4s, people I probably wouldn't have interacted with but now reach out to both socially and academically. Coming into med school, it was a huge adjustment. I was super nervous, but this really helped me find my groove, feel like I fit in, and just more comfortable. So.
The house rooms have been one of my favorite places to study throughout med school. They're so bright and open and filled with all your classmates, which is the best moral support. I also loved going to the house room breakfast with Panera Bagels before a lecture, and go JF House.
Hi, my name is Peter Kim, and I am on the House Advisor Committee for the Julius Friedenwald House. One of my favorite aspects of the House program is that it facilitates relationships with fellow students and also doctors. I've had the pleasure of going to multiple dinners with classmates in my house, meeting physicians who are advisors within the house, and taking advantage of house events where we can get free bagels and coffee before lecture. I know that some of my Julius Friedenwald House members will be some of my closest friends through medical school and even beyond. So thank you for your support of the House program.
Hearing from these students, it's no wonder that the Medical Family Annual Fund is supported by so many medical family members every year. We hope you will join us in making your first annual gift to the Medical Family Annual Fund today. No matter how much you contribute, your donation is put to work today. The next step is up to you. Can we add you to the list of Medical Family Annual Fund donors? The link to donate is found on the screen below and in your ceremony program. Or you can call the Office of Development at 410-706-8503 and tell them that Ginny and Craig sent you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Now for the fun. I would now like to present the University of Maryland School of Medicine Class of 2029, which will be led by Dr. Donna Parker and our student marshals. Dr. Parker is a professor in the Department of Medicine, the Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education, and the Chief Academic Officer for the Medical Education Program. We have two student marshals today from the class of 2028, historian Lauren Colliver and treasurer Shiza Mansour. please give your students a round of applause. All right, class of 2029, welcome, and you may now be seated. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Mark T. Gladwin, Dean of the University of Maryland School of Medicine, Vice President for Medical Affairs at the University of Maryland, Baltimore, and the John Z. and Akiko K. Bowers Distinguished Professor. Dr. Gladwin.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Congratulations to the class of 2029 for their white coat ceremony. This is probably my favorite event at the School of Medicine. So I just want to start by congratulating a really special group of students sitting in front of me and their amazing, supportive families, partners, friends, mentors, as well as our distinguished faculty and deans who will be working with you over the next 4 years, guaranteeing your success here and really supporting you over that time. So congratulations. So I do want to start by recognizing how absolutely challenging it is for all of you to be sitting here in front of me today. So you heard from Dr. Tom that we've had more than 7,100 applicants competing for your 173 seats. Every year since the COVID pandemic, impressive. Every year since the COVID pandemic, our applicant pool has risen, and we've already received thousands of applications for 2026. So why are we seeing such an interest in medicine? And while clearly I think this is evidence of the societal value that we place on being a physician, I also believe that the SARS-CoV-2 pandemic has realized a collective epiphany, and that is what we do in our academic medical centers and what we do in our academic medical schools really matters. And particularly a bold life of service, embracing humanism, medicine, and science matters. So clearly every one of you have distinguished yourselves in very unique and remarkable ways. But at the same time, I think you all share common traits that brought you here to the University of Maryland School of Medicine. I'm certain that you all have grit and resilience, discipline, fierce intelligence, and you're also humanists. You all confront challenges with integrity, grace, and compassion. To paraphrase Walter Isaacson, the author of the Steve Jobs biography, you're all here to put a dent in the universe. You do not accept this world order as it is today, but want to lean in and make a positive impact on our world. These are the values that we look for in the students of the University of Maryland School of Medicine. But if that isn't enough, and I'm putting you on a pedestal, we're going to expect a lot, I'm sure. But if that's not enough, you all have another attribute, and that's that all of you are bold. So one of my favorite quotes, written by William Hutchinson Murray, who attributed the couplet to the German poet and philosopher Goethe, "Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it." And I love this quote because what I lack in genius, I can make up in boldness. But to sit in this room, you all have boldly embraced uncertainty, a life of change, stress, discipline, and commitment, to a deep understanding of science and humanism, to embrace what you don't know, to find your passion in the many opportunities in medicine, to live with commitment and spend most of your living hours with and participating in the lives of our most vulnerable citizens, and to stand up and confront injustice and inequity to support all members of our society. And I think above all, you have accepted your own vulnerability and committed yourselves to a career that demands lifelong learning, constant self-reflection, and external feedback. And these attributes allow you to evolve and improve as a physician and healer over the course of a career. So being bold is going to mean getting out of your comfort zone all of the time, to step into the unknown with every new class, every clinical rotation, and every new patient relationship. And a special part of being bold in medicine relates to shared decisions between you as a physician and your patient about potentially life-saving interventions. Together, you're going to have to make bold calls about treatment and live with the outcomes of the most difficult shared decision and even the direct harm caused by what you recommend and what you do. Whether it's that first deep cut of the scalpel, or in my case, as a critical care doctor, making a decision that it's the right time to put someone to sleep and place an endotracheal breathing tube in a patient struggling for breath on a Friday evening, often knowing they may never wake up to see their family again. It may be starting a chemotherapeutic regimen that we know will cause many side effects and suffering, all in the hope of controlling cancer growth and possibly extending life. In academic medical centers like the University of Maryland, we may recommend experimental therapies that fail, like the infusion of genetically engineered stem cells and T cells that we hope and pray will cure our patients, may also lead to unknown side effects and will certainly advance science and medicine for all patients in the future. So I was in the ICU last week on the 7th floor of the University of Maryland Medical Center. The deans try to keep me out of the ICU, but every once in a while they let me there. And it was the first week of the month with new trainees. So our interns were on their first week. We had a fourth-year medical student, Matt Wilhide. I don't know, is Matt here? He's shy. Incredible fourth-year student doing his sub-internship. So if you want to know how to do a sub-I, you've got to hunt him down. And we had a first-week second-year resident running the team and a first-week pulmonary fellow. And everyone was bold. Everyone worked harder than ever to know everything about their complex patients, reading, studying, triple-checking medications and orders, really working as a team that so together we never missed anything. So on Friday, after a week of the rotation, the students and residents asked for feedback. Now, one of the amazing parts of medicine is that we're all on a constant journey of self-reflection and improvement. With deep humility, we ask for feedback on how to improve after every rotation. As a dean and after 30 years as a critical care medicine attending, I still get written feedback from all the students and residents on service. So Matt, be nice to me. And I read and reflect on all these comments. So at the end of the rotation, everyone asked me for advice on how to improve. What could they do to succeed in their future? And with the white coat ceremony coming up in a week, I reflected on what lessons I would have wanted to hear at the beginning of my medical career. What things did I do well? What things should I have optimized? So I'll just share with you in this moment 2 thoughts that I hope you'll carry with you. And you can think of this maybe as advice that I would have given a younger self 30 years ago that have somehow withstood those 3 decades of time. So the first advice is simple, but it's significant, and that is build your base of knowledge around mechanism of disease. From day one at the University of Maryland, you are going to be building a strong foundation on which a career will rise. Think about the care, effort, resources that go into building the foundation of a skyrise tower. The foundation that you're going to build over these next 4 years will determine your success as a physician, a scientist, an educator, and a leader over the next 5 decades. So a strong foundation of mechanism is going to help you understand, learn, develop lasting memory of clinical medicine, and prepare you for changes that science is going to bring to the practice of medicine. For our skyrise in medicine, the foundational knowledge is molecular biology and genetics, immunology, biochemistry, anatomy and physiology. We go back to these bedrocks, to this foundation, to frame added knowledge and learning. So understanding why a disease happens at a foundational mechanistic level is more effective than relying on pure rote memory, which is weak and will be forgotten over time. This approach matters more than ever today because I'm sorry to say your brains are working now better than they ever will work for the rest of your lives. You are sponges and you've got to take advantage of this mental agility. So it's the right time for you to invest in this foundation. Just last week in the ICU, as an example of this, we saw a 43-year-old patient that was actually taken care of by Matt. And this patient had a very rare disease. This young man was living a normal life with mild asthma when he became increasingly short of breath. He was misdiagnosed for months as having pneumonia, and he was treated with multiple courses of antibiotics, which failed to improve his condition. So eventually he had a CAT scan, which is like an X-ray, but we're sort of slicing through the lung and looking at the inside, at the alveoli. And it had a remarkable appearance. It looked like pulmonary edema or fluid in the lungs, which should have rapidly resolved. It also had this very unique appearance with ground glass opacities in the alveoli, in the air sacs, but with thick septal lines around the ground glass. It almost looked like flagstones in pavement, and we call this clinically crazy pavement. He then had a lung lavage and a biopsy at an outside hospital, which made the diagnosis of what this rare disease is. Does anybody know outside of our faculty? Huh? Pulmonary alveolar proteinosis. I think I heard that. So this is a disease. Yeah. So this disease has always fascinated me, and when I was your age, we had no idea of the molecular mechanism of this disease, so we just memorized the clinical findings. So it's caused by an accumulation in the lung airspaces of surfactant, which is a fatty proteinaceous molecule produced by the lung cells that at the right concentration keep our fragile alveoli open, allowing for gas exchange. And as the lung airspaces fill with too much surfactant, it impairs oxygen exchange from the lung to the blood, and the patient becomes more and more short of breath. Somehow I'm missing a page. The other advice, always stay humble. The last time I gave this speech, the sound went off, so you may have to rescue me if I lose another page. So essentially, the patient was drowning in their own lung surfactant. Now, the cause of this, as I said, was unknown, was I young. We just had to memorize this as a syndrome. So then there was a key basic science discovery over that time that white blood cells that are responsible for gobbling up and clearing that surfactant, called alveolar macrophages, do not function well. It turns out that most patients have autoantibodies that inhibit a cytokine called granulocyte monocyte colony stimulating factor that drives the macrophages to do their job gobbling up their surfactant and also clearing certain bacteria. So when you think about this mechanism now, suddenly you can kind of understand why it's happening, and it can help you to remember how to diagnose the disease without a lung biopsy, We now send antibodies against GM-CSF. We now know that maybe there's a therapy, and it turns out a drug has been developed, recombinant GM-CSF, that you can inhale, that activates the macrophages and helps them clear the surfactant. And there was just an article published this year in the New England Journal of Medicine showing that the therapy works. These patients also develop very rare infections that are related to macrophage dysfunction. And if there's any infectious disease doctors in the room, do you know the rare infections that these patients get? Smart not to guess. Nocardia and atypical mycobacterium. So you have to know to look for these infections in your patients. So all of this is hard to remember, but easier if you understand the central mechanism of disease related to autoimmune deficiency of GM-CSF and normal macrophage function. So as you move to the clinic over the next 4 years, you're going to have an opportunity to deeply experience your patients' journeys, their clinical presentations. You're going to be able to integrate that experience with foundational knowledge. From adult learning theory, we know that laying down long-term memory and recall is best achieved by data input from all our senses and built upon an organized structure and foundation. We remember the most by listening, hearing, smelling, discussing, reading, and thoughtfully integrating the clinical world onto the foundation and mechanism of disease. So this strength of knowledge will empower you and give you and your patients confidence. It will serve your patients well even when their diagnosis is untreatable. William Osler, who's considered the father of medicine, practiced right here in Baltimore at the turn of the century. And he was considered one of the absolute best physicians of his time in the world. And just think that at that time, he had no antibiotics. He had virtually no therapies outside rare curative surgery and opioids. All he had really was knowledge. But he could provide his patients and their family with a command or control over the unknown through diagnosis, prognosis, and compassion. So my second piece of advice is to embrace your humility and your humanity. And I think you're going to hear from other speakers more about this today. There are few worlds like medicine, especially working in a major academic medical center like the University of Maryland. Many of us have grown up in segregated worlds, segregated by race, nationality, income level, religion, and culture, even the level of academic competitiveness. Many of us come from other countries and cultures. And while our major academic medical centers represent only 5% of all hospitals in America, we train 70% of clinical providers. We take care of 30% of uninsured vulnerable patients in America. We take care of 30% of all Medicare patients in America. We're home to 70% of all NIH funding, which has sponsored 99% of all FDA-approved medications in the last 2 decades. We support 4% of the US gross domestic product and 4% of the best jobs in America. We're melting pots of diversity and inclusivity. We bring together people and patients from all strata of income, from the houseless to the world's wealthiest. And we're all eventually here as patients, at our most vulnerable time in life, struggling with the great equalizers: cancer, cardiovascular disease, and epidemic and opportunistic infections. So to me, this is a time to really embrace your role as a humanist and humbly engage at a deep level with your patients. You have a special ticket that no one else has to share your patients' every secret and share their most challenging experiences of their lives. So embrace this and get in there. Some of this will take practice and effort. It's not natural. I try very hard when I'm in rounds in the ICU to make sure I reach out and touch my patients and their families, especially if we come from different cultures or life experiences. And it can be very awkward to just cross the small physical distances and reach out, placing an arm around someone, shuffling next to them, putting your arm around them. Sometimes you have to squat next to the chair, or you have to pull in a chair between a bed and a wall. And I've always been surprised at how often when I make this contact, people suddenly break down, sobbing, reaching out for an embrace, even when they don't know me. And it always reminds me that we're symbols and the reality for them of hope and compassion. So please challenge yourselves to cross these cultural and physical distances with a kind word and a loving touch, and learn about your patients and experience their lived experience. So in the 5th century BC, this is not new advice or knowledge, Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, stated, "It is believed by experienced doctors that the heat which oozes out of the hand on being applied to the sick is highly salutary. It has often appeared while I've been soothing my patients as if there was a singular property in my hand to pull and draw away from the affected parts, aches, and diverse impurities, by laying my hands upon the place and extending my fingers towards it. Thus it is known to some of the learned that health may be implanted in the sick by certain gestures and by contact." So I hope this advice has been helpful. Build your foundation and mechanism disease. I hate to say it, everything they're going to teach you in the next 2 years matters. And embrace your humility and humanism and reach out. So I'll just close by more formally considering the symbolism of the white coat you're about to wear. To me, the white coat symbolizes a calling. This is more than a job. It's a sacred embrace of service, leadership, optimism, and humanism. You will feel and experience and do everything you can to make that positive dent in the universe. Embarking in a career in medicine can allow a person to fully engage humanity in the most ennobling ways. We draw on the sciences, humanities, and even business. Donning your white coat symbolically indicates your entrance into a sacred and ancient fraternity or sorority that will mark the rest of your lives in a way that no other occupation can. By donning the white coat, you prepare for a career of lifelong learning where you strive to be better and better as physicians and physician scientists and humanists, even as the gray hairs finally start to appear. And when those days are hard, and they will be, you'll be part of a family. You'll embrace your vulnerability. You'll ask for help and support from me, your faculty mentors, your family, your friends, and we're all supporters on this mission that you will lead. And so to our medical students, who I hope are feeling the consequence of the white coat, remember that whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it, and Godspeed on your rarefied and consequential journey. So now I'm pleased to introduce the president of our Medical Alumni Association, Dr. Tuan Tanu, class of 1990, and a specialist in gastroenterology practicing in Gaithersburg, very close to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Gladwin. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the 8,600 living members of the Medical Alumni Association of the University of Maryland, it is my pleasure to welcome the class of 2029 to the alumni family. This is a very exciting day for each of you. Receiving the white coat marks a significant step forward in your dream of becoming a physician. As the saying goes, life is a journey, not a destination. I know this firsthand. In my mid-teens, I was in a refugee camp in Asia, but the University of Maryland offered me a chance to pursue my dreams. 35 years later, I stand before you as the president of the Alumni Association. Here are a few things I would like to share with you. Take your time to enjoy the moment and appreciate the knowledge you gain. The next 4 years will be very challenging. Make friends and keep a good support system. Be resilient and adaptive, but remember to remain compassionate. And most importantly, never hesitate to reach out for help. While the medical school will help you realize your dream, our Alumni Association will be standing alongside you during this journey, supporting you. You had your first interaction with us on Monday in the historic Davis Hall, and today, as you don your white coat, you are receiving a stethoscope personal welcome from one of our alumni. Many of you are already recipients of scholarships established by our graduates. Throughout the course of your education here will be staging events and activities to make your experience at Maryland a memorable one. So make time to come out and enjoy. We are very proud of you. Congratulations. Best of luck and enjoy your journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tanu. Our next speaker is Class of 2026 President, Tariq Antar. Tariq graduated from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County in 2020 with a Bachelor of Science in Biology and a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Tariq is one of our fourth-year students in his final year, so students, that slide from Dr. Martinez today, he's checked off almost all of those boxes. He's planning to apply to residency. He is applying to residency for neurology position to start next fall. Tariq, please welcome to the stage.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is pretty surreal. Like Dr. Tom said, it was only 3 years ago where I was standing in your position. Yeah, didn't expect to get here this quickly. I think in our first week, one of our faculty, I think it was Dr. Shaw, but don't quote me on that, he told us that the days are long, but the years are short. And I think standing here, I'm sort of realizing that that's a very accurate way to describe being in medical school. Before I begin, I wanted to take a moment to thank the administration for giving me the opportunity to be here. I'm honored to even be considered for such an important role. Also, and most importantly, I want to congratulate you guys, the class of 2029. From myself and everybody in the class of 2026, welcome. And to the family and friends, everybody who's here and watching from home, thank you. You're the invisible and integral support structure that we all rely on to get through this journey. Your pride today is deeply earned. Thinking back to when I was in your shoes, I remember this week being a blur. Lots of new faces, lots of new information, new anxieties. You're taking so many steps all at once, and it feels like you've barely gotten your feet under you. But at some point, you'll come to the realization that you've made it. And today, you put on the white coat. Physically, it's a little bit stiff and kind of hot, but metaphorically, it's really heavy. Even as your white coat inevitably hangs in your closet in between palm days, you're going to be putting on a white coat every time you challenge yourself to learn a new disease, make a differential diagnosis, or try to connect with a patient. Slowly, the coat's going to become something else, something invisible but constant. At first, you'll think about medicine kind of like trivia. Like, what is myasthenia gravis? It's an autoimmune disease. You can't give patients magnesium. And you'll feel a lot of pride in that. You're not just being a student, you're becoming a person who knows things. You're becoming what you're aspiring to be. But later on, it changes. You're not going to be thinking about yourself and what you've learned. You're going to be thinking about people. people whose lives you've touched, whose diseases you've seen. For example, you'll remember the patient who came in with new onset of myasthenia gravis. The little facts won't be as important, but you'll remember the look on their face, the fear in their family's eyes, the relief they'll feel when the medications finally start working. You're going to remember all sorts of things, the patients who told you that you were a good doctor, the patients who started to feel a little bit better, the patients who went home, and the ones who didn't. That's what it means to put on the coat. You're not just learning disease, but you're holding the weight of experience. You'll start noticing a lot of little things, like if a friend mentions a headache, you're going to quietly build a differential. When someone texts about chest pain, you're mentally triaging. You Google a symptom just to check, and then you're 2 clicks away from diagnosing yourself with lymphoma. That's when you know the coat is on, even if you're not wearing it. I remember a moment on my pediatrics rotation. There was a 17-year-old girl who had abdominal pain, but despite our best efforts, we couldn't figure out exactly what was going on. Her symptoms just seemed getting worse, and it seemed like every other day there was a new complication. I felt a responsibility to try to help her. I skipped lunch, stayed late, kept circling back. I was trying to convince myself that she was okay or that she was getting better. And eventually she did start to get better, but I couldn't get it out of my head. I kept replaying things, checking labs, asking myself if I missed something or if I could do something better next time. And that's what I realized, that I really hadn't taken the coat off, not physically, or physically I had, but emotionally I hadn't. And I think that's the part that no amount of Anki can really prepare you for. So if there's one thing that I can try to impart on you from my limited experience, it's that when those moments, and they will come, when they feel overwhelming, that's how you know you're in the right place. The vigilance, the instinct to care, the emotional investment, that's part of the white coat as much as the knowledge and experiences. At the end of the day, it's exactly why you belong here, but it's also why you need to preserve your own health, because sometimes you need to take the white coat off. Sometimes you do need to rest. You should call your mom. You should cuddle your pets. Get some fresh air, do something pointless and joyful. Try to remember who you were before you learned the Krebs cycle. That's not weakness. That's how you endure this. So today you're going to put the coat on, and it will change you, but I also hope you learn when and why you need to take it off. Because the best doctors I've met aren't the ones who burn out trying to wear it every second of every day. They're the ones who learn how to take care of the person under the coat too. So, in conclusion, welcome to medicine. Rest assured, you guys belong here. Thank you. And now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Each year, the student members of the UMSOM chapter of the Gold Humanism Honor Society, the GHHS, nominate a faculty presenter to give remarks at the White Coat ceremony. This year's presenter is Dr. Nidhi Goyal, who is actually my POM preceptor all the way back in first year. She works alongside Dr. Ronnie Levin as a faculty advisor for the GHHS chapter. GHHS recognizes students who exemplify compassionate, patient-centered care by treating the whole person, not just their illness. These students demonstrate empathy, respect, and a deep commitment to patients' emotional, social, and spiritual well-being. Dr. Goyal graduated from UMSOM in 2010 and completed her residency training in internal medicine and pediatrics at the University of Maryland Medical Center. She then went on to join UMSOM faculty. She practices as a teaching hospitalist for both adult and pediatric patients. She also serves as director of the medicine clerkship and as an assistant program director for the MedPeds residency program. Dr. Goyal was selected by the GHHS chapter to speak today because of her exceptional dedication to medical student education, mentorship, and humanism. She has a profound impact on the education and growth of the chapter's student members. To them, and to myself, she represents the kind of physician they aspire to become: dedicated, compassionate, and inspiring. Dr. Goyal was also selected because of the impact she has on students in her role as the director of the medicine clerkship. She ensures these students build a strong foundation in the diagnosis, management, and treatment of complex medical conditions, while also recognizing the emotional toll that this profession can take. She creates space for reflection through debriefing, supporting her students' mental health, and helping them navigate the challenges of clinical training with resilience and compassion. Please welcome Dr. Goyle to the stage.
I'm not sure I can follow Tarek's speech, but I'm going to try. Students, class of 2029, I am so honored to be here with you today. 19 years ago, when I was granted the privilege of wearing my first white coat, I certainly did not envision standing on this stage in front of you. I could not have known then the twists and turns my life and career would take and how my coat would embody so much of my journey. In 2006, I stood on the stage of Leadership Hall, which at that time was a rickety, very brown MSTF auditorium, and made sure I leaned just far back enough to put on my coat, but not so far back as to accidentally fall over backwards and knock into the esteemed faculty member who was bestowing the honor upon me. Putting that coat on filled me with immense pride. I would wear it once a week as I learned how to interview patients, strategically filling the pockets with papers that reminded me of what questions to ask. By the time I got to third year, the coat weighed an extra 10 pounds. The pockets overflowed with small reference books and notepads. Back then, smartphones were new on the scene, and us cash-strapped medical students were still carrying flip phones. Those pockets seemed to contain the full collective knowledge of everything I had learned during the first 2 years of medical school. Well, maybe not the Krebs cycle, along with all the pearls I was picking up during my clerkships. Transitioning into residency, as the coat got longer, so did my responsibilities grow. I remember feeling the weight of that coat the first time I consoled a grieving daughter after pronouncing her father dead from advanced heart failure. I remember fishing cleaning wipes out of the pocket to wipe maple syrup from my stethoscope after an enthusiastic toddler grasped it in a hand that moments earlier was enjoying French toast day on the pediatrics floor. Over time, that coat became almost a second skin, a lifeline, sometimes stained, often bearing the vestiges of whatever rotation I had most recently been on. As I became an attending, it became a symbol of my position on the team as a leader and as a teacher. In putting it on, I'm automatically given a pass to ask people about some of the most intimate, vulnerable parts of their lives. It is a key that unlocks a unique part of the human experience. It gives us the privilege of sharing extreme triumph and extreme grief with our patients and their loved ones. The weight of my white coat had become so familiar to me over the years, but never more so than when I was navigating extreme progressive illness in members of my own family. In March of 2021, my family's life was forever changed when my father-in-law developed acute respiratory failure. He ended up in our hospital, where he received outstanding care from my colleagues in the medical intensive care unit and the medical IMC. I don't know if Nirav Shah was wearing his white coat when he called to tell me that my father-in-law had had a cardiac arrest, but I know the weight of it was upon him when we dealt with the uncertainty of what that meant. I'm pretty sure Janaki Deepak was not wearing hers when she came to my father-in-law's bedside in the ICU to read Hindu text to him at 10 p.m. Months later, I know that Neil Porter had probably forgone his white coat and tucked his ever-present reflex hammer into his pocket as he relayed to us the horrendous diagnosis of ALS as the underlying cause of my father-in-law's decline. And I viscerally remember seeing a white coat donning the shoulders of one of my former residents as he walked down the hall of the inpatient hospice center as the palliative care attending who guided our family through terminal ventilator removal to allow my father-in-law to die with dignity. Whether it was physically present on their bodies or not, the presence of the white coat was in every fiber of how my family and I were treated. These people, whom I had known as my teachers, colleagues, trainees, and friends, now had become our healers, our confidants, and ultimately our consolers. They shared in our joy when clinical milestones were reached, and ultimately in our profound grief when we had to face the grim, inevitable truth. While it's tempting to think that our care team was extra attentive to us because of the fellowship of the white coat, the truth is that my family and I are just not that special. I've been around these individuals long enough to know that this is how they treat all their patients, with dignity, compassion, and respect, as they practice medicine of the highest caliber. I was and continue to be inspired by them, my trainees, and all of you. Everybody finds humanism in the practice of medicine in different ways. You are at a truly special moment in your lives. Watching you discover your place in the ecosystem of medicine is inspiring. You will forget what questions to ask during a patient interview, put your stethoscope on backwards and wonder why you can't hear anything, and get hopelessly lost in the hospital. You will learn where to find the best free snacks, how much caffeine is too much, and one day, sooner than you think, someone will say, "Thank you, doctor," and you'll realize that they are correctly speaking to you. So whether you wear your white coat physically or just metaphorically, do so with humility, curiosity, pride, and compassion. We cannot wait to bear witness to this part of your journey. Congratulations to all of you. I would now like to invite Dr. Marissa Flaherty to the stage, who will be introducing our next presenters. Dr. Flaherty is an assistant professor in the Department of Psychiatry and an assistant dean in the Office of Student Affairs. She is also a faculty advisor to the School of Medicine's Peer Support Network. Dr. Flaherty?
Thank you, Dr. Goyle. I am excited to introduce our next presenters, Serena Maney and Ryan Lashgary, two class of 2026 medical students and leaders of our peer support network. Serena is this year's co-president, and Ryan is this year's student liaison. I'm pleased to be faculty advisor for this dedicated group of students. They volunteer their time to assist their peers in navigating various aspects of medical school. Our University of Maryland School of Medicine peer support leaders are certified peer educators, trained in active listening and resource management. They draw on their own experiences to guide and encourage fellow students. Today, Serena and Ryan will share more about how the peer support network can help our newest students thrive. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
Thank you so much, Dr. Flaherty. It truly is an incredible honor to be here today. Good afternoon, and welcome to the University of Maryland School of Medicine. To our incoming M1s, congratulations on receiving your white coat today. This isn't just a symbol of medicine. It's a symbol of trust, responsibility, and the journey ahead. My name is Serena Maney, and I serve as the co-president of the Peer Support Network.
And I'm Ryan Lashgary, the student liaison.
We are a group of students who volunteered our time to walk alongside you during your time here. And we're so grateful for Dr. Flaherty, our incredible faculty advisor, as well as the Office of Student Affairs, who helped create this program and continue to guide it with so much heart. Her dedication to student wellness and peer support is a big part of why this network exists today. Medical school is an incredible chapter of growth, intellectually, emotionally, and physically. But no one is meant to go through it alone.
We believe deeply in the power of connection, whether it's academic advice, emotional support, guidance through step prep, clerkships, or just someone to get coffee with. We are here. All of our peer leaders are certified peer educators trained in active listening and resource navigation. But most importantly, we've been where you are today. Whether it's an M3, an M4, or someone with shared life experiences, you can reach out once or build a continuing connection. We host ice cream socials, introduction to clerkships, or just events to reconnect over the course of the year.
There will be days that feel heavy, times when the information feels endless, and you question your ability to keep up. I've had those moments as someone with no physicians in the family, as an immigrant, as someone just trying to figure it out as I go. And in those moments, what helped most wasn't a lecture or a flashcard. It was connection, a conversation, a reminder that I wasn't the only one feeling this way. Your white coat symbolizes the start of a lifelong commitment to showing up for others, and that begins by showing up for yourself and letting others show up for you. So don't lose sight of your why, the part of you that got you here, the spark, the purpose, the passion. It's still there, even on the tough days. Take time to check in with yourself. What gives you energy? What centers you? What excites you most about this journey?
And when things feel overwhelming, reach out. Some of the most valuable resources for me over the course of medical school were Ms. Tess Gillis and Ms. Courtney Butler, our wonderful academic advisors. We have our amazing peer tutors you can find on Medscope, The Office of Student Affairs, the Office of Medical Education, and the Office of Student Research are also all incredible supports. Above all, it was the people. People I could talk with, laugh with, cry with, that made the difference.
We at the Peer Support Network are here for you. OSA is here for you. And most importantly, your classmates, the people in this very room, are here for you. And we're so proud to have you here and so excited to walk with you through this next chapter.
Finally, some advice from our time in medical school. Your greatest resources are your fellow classmates. While you may have to introduce yourself to seemingly 1,000 people over this past week, these faces will become some of your closest friends and invaluable resources for advice. Whether it's an attending's favorite presentation style or the best places for free food on campus, these will just be some of your most valuable friends. And finally, some more practical advice. Make sure there are no pens in your white coat before you put it in the dryer. The stains do not come out, you only get one. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Serena and Ryan. Prior to today's ceremony, students were each asked to describe what the white coat means to them in one word. And before we begin the presentation of white coats, I just want to share a word cloud displaying some of those thoughts. For those joining us virtually, you can see that word cloud at medschool.umaryland.edu/whitecoat. Responsibility, commitment, service, honor, integrity. As you can see, the white coat is very meaningful to our students, and every one of our speakers has talked about it today, representing a variety of important values which they will demonstrate throughout their time in medical school and in their future in medicine. In a few moments, I'll begin calling each of the students to stage. We will begin calling each of the students to the stage for the presentation of the white coats. Their white coat will be placed on them by a faculty member representing their house. After being coated, we'll ask the students to then move next to sign their name in the honor registry, assisted by Mr. Larry Petroff, Executive Director of the Medical Alumni Association. Mr. Petroff, will you begin to join us on stage? The Alumni Association has graciously provided this beautiful leather album for each class of students to sign as an affirmation of the Code of Honor. The book comes out of the historic Davidge Hall just once a year, specifically for this purpose, and it is one of the many ways in which the Medical Alumni Association supports our students and student programs over their 4 years here. The name of each of class of 2029 student was inscribed into the registry by class of 2028 student, Manashi Prashanth. Will Dr. Donna Parker, Dr. Bernadette Satan, and Student Marshal Shiza Mansour please come to the stage? Students, before you leave the stage, you will each be receiving a stethoscope donated by alumni from the Medical Alumni Association, along with a personalized note written by one of our alums. We are grateful for these generous and meaningful gifts. The stethoscopes will be presented to you by Dr. Parker and the notes distributed by Dr. Satan, the Assistant Dean for the UME-GME transition. Talk about hidden curriculum, undergraduate medical education, and graduate medical education transition. So that means when you're done with us and move on to residency. And I'd also like to ask Dean Gladwin, Dr. Mary Claire Roegman, and Dr. Nirav Shah to please come to the stage. Dr. Roegman. Dr. Roegman is the director of our MD PhD training program and the associate dean for the physician scientist training. Dr. Shah, who many of our students have met this week, is our assistant dean for medical education and the Office of Medical Education Liaison for our Eva Dodge House. Students, when you're called up, you'll be called up to the stage in groups of 3, and we will begin with our Ava Dodge students. Your student marshal will be instructing you on how to proceed to the aisle row one at a time, so please just follow their directions. After you are coded, remember to sign the registry and accept your gifts from Drs. Parker and Dr. Chatan before exiting and returning to your seats. You'll use the stairs right in front of you on that side of the stage. I would now like to invite our Student Affairs Liaison for the Eva Dodge House, Dr. Elizabeth Lemos, up to the stage. Dr. Lemos is an Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, and she will introduce our first set of coders and call the Eva Dodge House students to the stage.
I'd now like to invite our first set of Ava Dodge House coders, Dr. Eric Strouch, Dr. Rebecca Cray, and Dr. Chetan Rao. Dr. Strouch is one of our medical school faculty members and parent of class of 2029 student Jessica Strouch. And now we're going to get started. I'd like to invite Elizabeth Aquino Peterson, Tushar Bali, Stephanie Berhanu. Hana Berhe, Simran Bhutia, Camille Brechat. Caitlin Carino, Stephanie Choi, Isabel Cordova Amador. Maxine Deveau, Allison Dockman, Wasilat Dosunmo. Jules Einhorn, Michaela Fleetwood, Edlia Fogum. Lily Fritz, Yusuf Gandhi, Noah Glazer. Jeffrey Gua, Mahan Hagagatian, Sami Haidar. I'd like to thank Dr. Cray and Dr. Rao for their service today, and now invite Dr. Mohammed Jokadar and Dr. Gentry Wilkerson to the stage. Dr. Jokadar is a School of Medicine faculty member and parent of class of 2029 student Nada Jokadar. Malika Hiam, Nada Jokadar, Anchal Kasargard. Ariana Kashku, Irene Kim, Kiran Kular. Jonathan Lau, Emma Martin, Sabrine Mohammed. Elizabeth Wynn, Tevin Okutoy, Alexander Parker. Jillian Perry, Madeline Phillips, Malika, Sharifa Raji Khalid. Safiola Rifai, Matthew Smith, Joseph Smulaski. Charles Sun, Srinidhi Srinivas, Jessica Strouch. Milo Taylor, Chidera Omuzulo. Congratulations, Ava Dodge House. Thank you to our Ava Dodge House faculty members. I'd now like to invite Dr. John Allen up to the stage. Dr. Allen is an Assistant Dean for Student Affairs and the Student Affairs Liaison to the Julius Friedenwald House, which will be presented next.
Please welcome Dr. Olga Yaffe, Julius Friedenwald House Head, and Dr. Philip Dittmar, Assistant Dean for the Clinical Curriculum and Office of Medical Education Liaison for our Friedenwald House to the stage, along with our coders, Dr. Uzo Amaka Eke, Dr. Marissa Kajavi, and Dr. Mutiat Onigabanjo. Selma Adu Jamfi, Daryush Ali Golizadeh, Amanda Bear. Stacy Barreto, Andrew Bliss, Samuel Bodmer. Julian Bolaños, Nathan Bryce, Timothy Bro. Rachel Bruning, Aaron Burns, Nicholas Burvey. Skylar Chan, Hamza Farouk, Shanti Fuel. Megan Figueres, Matan Yarovich, Sarah Ismail. Polina Kassir, Lynn Kim, Eric Kokosinski. Dory Krasner, Jordan Krinsky, Grace Lee. Yuban Lee, Anna Lodge, Katarina Lucky. David Mahan, Emily Mang, Neelish Muparapu. Sylvia Matua, Arushi Nagy, Olivia Orenstein. Catherine Paris, Tessa Sapiro, R. Shaw. Khadijah Shaw, Fatima Sheikh, Omer Sharif. Congratulations. Zoe Shee, Asha Sneed. Anise Ufo, Isabella Vasquez. Thank you to our Friedenwald House faculty. We will now present white coats to our Lois Young Thomas House students. Please welcome Dr. Carrie Tom back to the stage. Dr. Tom is the Student Affairs Liaison for our Lois Young Thomas House.
I would now like to invite Dr. Deborah Stein, Lois Young Thomas House Head, and Dr. Connie LeCap, our Assistant Dean for Assessment and Office of Medical Education Liaison for LYT, up to the stage, along with our first set of coders, Dr. Laura Dunnigan, Dr. Kelly Moyer, and Dr. Shripriya Sundararajan. Dr. Donegan is a UMSOM faculty member and a parent of class of 2029, Kristen Donegan. Nehemia Abi, Nalia Abni, Miriam, and Miriam Adeyemo. Dalia Ahmed, Andrew Altman Jr., Cyrus Amini. Jerome Awada, Yara Ayash, Cordelia Badri Prasad. Kayla Bay, Hannah Blevins, Madison Chandler. Amna Chima, Kenneth Donahue, Kristen Donegan. Ariana Duckett, Vinay Darbacula, Sarah Anjati, Sarah Anjati. Samuel Garcia Olmos, Isabella Panula, Andrash Heslop. I'd like to thank Dr. Donegan for joining us on stage, and now invite Dr. Christopher Welsh. Mackenzie Higgins, Liba Iqbal, Christine Jones. Rian Cateau, Rebecca Kauf, Victoria Kremunitz. Henry McGrath III, John Marachi, and Mary Nguyen. Sage Exley, Rachel Pang, Mukund Parsi. Asma Pashni, Maimuna Sanugo, Eli Siberium. Jalen Stock, Mira Stone, Akari Takanashi. Alyssa Talarico, Hannah Thomas, Ella Walchko, and Aiden Waybright. Thank you to our Lois Young Thomas House faculty, and I would now like to invite Dr. Marissa Flaherty back to the stage, who is the Student Affairs Liaison for our MGP House.
Thank you, Dr. Tom. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Joseph Martinez, Associate Dean for Medical Education and Student Experience, House Head, Office of Medical Education Liaison for the Mario Garcia Palmieri House. I'd also like to invite our coders to the stage, Dr. Jennifer Lammers, Dr. Sarah McAvoy, and Dr. Norman Retner. Anish Acharya, Fareen Ahmed, Samin Ahmed. Adele Anderson, Amber Armelini, Vani Aurora. Nadia Baba, Michaela Bacorn, Sarin Bahati. Akshaya Balaji, Lindsay Barrow, Sam Boswinkle. Margaret Bowen, Mokshita Chimbili, Stephen Cobbs. Kayla Cook, Rosa Corcoran, Casey Douglas. Adam Epstein Schumann, Layla Gorab, Andrew Hui. Sanjana Cha, Mahadev Josiobatla, Tiffany Kemberry. Nadia Kanam, Jun Young Kim, Jonathan Korabelnikov. Tyler Lee, Haley Livingston, Alexis Loader. Peter Lukish, Iman Mansour, Catherine Mbwashu Ndip. Benjamin Norin, Gabriela Pereira, Catherine Fan. Martina Potsi, Shobit Prasad, Madison Piles. Odette Rodriguez Garces, Madeline Shapiro. Tapender Singh, Ann Thomas. Thank you so much to our Mario Garcia Palmieri House faculty and to Dean Gladman and Dr. Rogman. Once all students have returned to their seats, we will proceed with the next portion of our program.
You guys beat me to the punchline, but we'll do it one more time. Congratulations, class of 2029. I would now like to invite Dr. Devang Patel to the stage, along with our volunteer student code of honor readers. Readers, I think you know who you are. If you could please come up to the stage, stage left, so over here to your right, where Ms. McCartan is, and join her on the side of the stage. Dr. Patel is an associate professor in the Department of Medicine and our assistant dean for the pre-clerkship curriculum. Dr. Patel.
All right, thank you, Dr. Tom. We will now prepare to read the Code of Honor. To celebrate the diversity of the class of 2029, several of our first-year students have volunteered to read a portion of the Code of Honor in their native language. The Code of Honor was written by our UMSOM chapter of the Gold Humanism Honor Society and is reviewed by the chapter annually to ensure that it aligns with the values and goals of our medical students. Recitation of the Code of Honor represents the public acknowledgement by our students of the responsibilities of the profession they have chosen to enter and their willingness to assume such obligations. This will occur in the presence of both family, friends, and faculty. Students, it is our hope that each of you will remember this day and this oath as you venture forth onto the path, a career in medicine, and that we will live by the words you speak today. After each of our volunteers reads their portion of the Code of Honor in their native language, I will be reciting the same section in English, which can be found in your ceremony program. Readers, when you are ready, please join me on the stage. It looks like everybody's there. Yep, come on. I now invite all students and faculty to stand and recite the Code of Honor along with us in English or your native language. Our first reader will be Akari Takahashi, reciting in Japanese.
この白衣を身にまとうことで、私は医学の道に入ることを誓います。先人たちが築き上げてきた科学的、人道的な進歩を継承し、さらに発展させる責務を自覚します。この誓いを通じて医師となることの特権と責任の重さを深く認識します。
Thank you. Accepting this white coat, I enter the profession of medicine with the duty to build on the scientific and humanistic advancements of past generations. In taking this oath, I recognize my privilege and responsibility in becoming a physician. Next, we have Mahan Hagigatsian in Farsi.
اکنون من به عنوان یک پزشک آینده سوگند یاد می کنم که نهایت تلاش خود را برای کمک به بیماران و پرهیز از آسیب به آنان به کار گیرم.
We'll read along. Therefore, I pledge as a future physician, I will do no harm. Elizabeth Nguyen, Vietnamese.
Tôi sẽ tôn trọng bệnh nhân và quyền tự chủ của họ. Tôi sẽ đối xử với bệnh nhân và người thân của họ như gia đình của chính bản thân mình. Tôi sẽ cố gắng tạo niềm tin với bệnh nhân qua ánh nhìn thấu hiểu, lắng nghe và sự chấp thuận có hiểu biết của bệnh nhân. Tôi sẽ bảo mật quyền riêng tư và thông tin mà tôi chia sẻ với bệnh nhân của mình.
I will respect my patients and their autonomy. I will treat my patients and their loved ones as I would my own. I will seek to establish trust through eye contact, active listening, and informed consent. I will safeguard the confidential relationships I share with my patients. Arsh Shah, Gujarati.
હું જે પણ જગ્યામાં પ્રવેશીશ ત્યાં હું હૂંફ, સહાનુભૂતિ અને આરોગ્ય અને રોગની જટિલતાનું સમજણ લાવીશ. હું જાણું છું કે લોકોની સંભાળ લેવી એ તેમના માટે એક નિયમસાર અને પરિવર્તનશીલ અનુભવ છે.
With every room that I enter, I will bring warmth, empathy, and an understanding of the complexity of health and illness. I will recognize that caring for people is a formal and transformative experience for them. Samuel Garcia Olmos and Odette Rodriguez Garces, Spanish.
Reconozco mi posición única para impactar directamente la vida de las personas.
Entiendo que la salud de mis pacientes transciende los síntomas de sus enfermedades y está profundamente vinculada con su bienestar social, económico, espiritual y emocional.
I recognize my unique position to directly impact people's lives. I understand that my patients' health goes far beyond the symptoms of their disease and is intimately connected with their social, economic, spiritual, and emotional well-being. Ann Thomas, Malayalam.
ചരിത്രപരമായി അരികുകൾക്ക് അരികിയപ്പെട്ട സമൂഹങ്ങളെ സേവിക്കുന്നതിൽ നമ്മുടെ ആരോഗ്യ സംരക്ഷണ സംവിധാനത്തിൻ്റെ പോരായ്മകൾ ഞാൻ അംഗീകരിക്കുന്നു. വൈദ്യശാസ്ത്രത്തിൽ നിലനിൽക്കുന്ന വ്യവസ്ഥാപരമായ മേൽചുമത്തപ്പെട്ട അനീതികൾ പരിഹരിക്കാൻ ഞാൻ ഉത്തരവാദിയാണ്.
I acknowledge the shortcomings of our healthcare system in serving historically marginalized communities. I recognize the ongoing systemic inequities in medicine and commit to repairing the injustices inflicted upon these communities. Leila Gorab, Arabic.
وسوف أتذكر دائما أنني كطالبة طب جزء أساسي من فريق يعمل على توفير أفضل رعاية ممكنة. سوف أكون متواضعة ومتقبلة للتوجيه وللأفكار الجديدة وواثقة من قدرتي على إحداث تأثير إيجابي. لن أتردد في طلب المساعدة أو النصيحة من زملائي.
I will always remember that, as a student doctor, I am an essential part of a team working to provide the very best care. I will be humble, receptive to feedback, open to new ideas, and confident in my ability to make a positive impact. I will not hesitate to ask for assistance or advice from any colleagues. Tupinder Singh, Punjabi.
ਮੈਂ ਸਦਾ ਲਈ ਚਿਕਿਤਸਾ ਵਿਦਿਆ ਦਾ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀ ਰਹਾਂਗਾ ਅਤੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਭਰ ਸਿੱਖਣ ਦੇ ਸੰਕਲਪ ਲਈ ਵਚਨਬੱਧ ਹਾਂ। ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਗਿਆਨ ਨੂੰ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਵਧਾਉਂਦਾ ਰਹਾਂਗਾ ਅਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਰੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਦੇਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਸदैव ਪਹਿਲ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ। ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਦੇ ਸਮੂਹ ਅਧਿਆਪਕਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਆਦਰ ਪ੍ਰਗਟ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਡਾਕਟਰਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਅਗਲੀਆਂ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਤਸਾਹਿਤ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਵੀਕਾਰ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ।
I will always be a student of medicine, committed to lifelong learning. I will continually expand my knowledge while taking the initiative to dutifully serve and educate my patients. I acknowledge all my educators throughout my life and honor my responsibility to promote the next generations of physicians. Matan Yarovich, Hebrew.
אכבד את רווחתי הנפשית, הגופנית והרגשית, כדי שאוכל לטפל ביעילות במטופליי ובעצמי. יחד, אנחנו נשבעים לגלם נאמנה את האידיאלים האלו למען שיפורה המתמשך של האנושות.
I will honor my mental, physical, and emotional well-being so that I can effectively care for my patients and myself. Together, we swear to faithfully embody these ideals for the ongoing betterment of humanity. Thank you to our readers. You may now return to your seats. And now, please welcome Dr. Tom back to the stage.
Thank you all sincerely for being a part of today's class of 2029 White Coat Ceremony. Students, as we adjourn, your marshals will lead you actually back up onto the stage for a class photo. We'll have Dean Gladwin and our UME faculty leaders also join us on stage for the photo. Family and friends and staff members, we invite you to proceed out the theater to your left. Yes, to your left, where photo stations and concessions will be set up in the lobby, both on the first and second floors. The students will join you shortly after today's class photo. Please note that the photos taken at the photo stations will be shared publicly online. Also, you will see that the class of 2028 has a table where you can purchase School of Medicine t-shirts, so get your swag out there. These proceeds go to the class of 2028 account, which supports class social functions throughout their time here. And your students will have the opportunity to do this next year. Once again, we thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed today's ceremony, and congratulations again to the class of 2029.